Dear Libra, you didn't land here by accident. You're watching this video because something in your spirit is responding to a divine alignment that is already unfolding. The truth is clear, simple, and sacred. On the morning of December 4th, someone will leave your life and it will bring one of the greatest blessings you've ever received. This is not a forecast to fear. It's an invitation to freedom. A spiritual pivot. A cosmic door opening just as another one closes behind you. Perhaps you've already felt it. That distant silence. That subtle change in someone's behavior. That inner knowing you couldn't quite explain but couldn't ignore either. If your heart has been sensing that something is shifting, Libra, you're not imagining it. You are standing at the threshold of something major. And I'm here, alongside you, to help you understand what's unfolding, why it's happening, and what powerful renewal is waiting just beyond the moment of release. This reading is part of your evolution. Because on December 4th, the stars align in a profound way. Venus, your ruling planet, comes into direct contact with Pluto, the cosmic force of death and rebirth. This isn't just another Tuesday. This is a sacred checkpoint, a moment of karmic cleansing where what no longer resonates with your soul path will gently, or suddenly, begin to fall away. And you don't need to push it. You don't need to beg. You don't even need to understand it completely yet. The universe is moving for you. Quietly. Decisively. Lovingly. When I pulled your cards, two energies made themselves known immediately, the Tower and the Star. The Tower tears away illusion. It breaks down the walls you've outgrown. And sometimes, those walls are people, roles, or identities you thought you had to keep forever. But when the Tower falls, the Star rises. That is your rebirth. That is your healing. That is your future calling to you, clear and bright. So let me ask you this, Libra, deep down, do you already feel it? That something or someone is slipping from your life? That a connection, an idea, or even an outdated version of you is coming to its natural end? If so, I want you to pause. Breathe. Feel into it. And when you're ready, I invite you to ground your truth by writing in the comments, I allow what's meant to leave to go, and I open myself to divine peace and clarity. Your words are powerful. They are prayers. And by writing this, you're not just agreeing with a message, you're participating in your own liberation. Because this isn't simply a horoscope. It's a moment of energetic activation. One that allows you to reclaim your light, your boundaries, and your voice without shame or hesitation. I want to take this moment to thank you, deeply and genuinely, for your presence here. Every like, every heartfelt comment, every subscriber, you are not just supporting this message. You are helping build a sanctuary for healing, truth, and spiritual connection. A place where astrology isn't entertainment, it's empowerment. This is Zodiac Whisper Tarot, and this is your safe space. And Libra, trust me when I say, you'll want to stay with me until the very end of this message. Because what the universe is revealing today through the stars, through the cards, and through your own intuitive souls, not just guidance. It's a divine intervention. It's the moment you finally come back to yourself. So now I ask you, what truth brought you here today? What quiet voice inside your soul whispered, watch this? I'm listening. I'm holding space. Let's walk through that doorway together. When two souls once walked together in rhythm, there's a sacred beauty in the harmony they shared. But sometimes, just like rivers parting at a fork, the path begins to change not from conflict, but from evolution. And Libra, this is exactly what the universe is highlighting for you through the rare and transformative astrology surrounding December 4th. On this day, your ruling planet Venus comes into powerful contact with Pluto, the celestial force of endings, transformation, and spiritual rebirth. To some, this alignment may feel abrupt, even disorienting. But in truth, it's a cosmic intervention, a gentle but firm reminder that what is no longer resonating with your soul's frequency will begin to dissolve. Pluto does not destroy to punish. Pluto dissolves illusions so that truth can emerge. And Venus, as the planet of beauty, love, and harmony, becomes the messenger that tells you, the chapter you're closing is not a failure, it's a completion. Many people misunderstand what transformation looks like. They wait for loud signs, dramatic exits, or final words. But spiritual change often arrives in whispers. A sense of disconnection. A realization that someone's presence no longer brings peace, but restlessness. And Libra, as the sign of balance and emotional intelligence, you often stay far longer than you should, trying to hold both sides of the scale, even when one side is weighing you down. This is the divine purpose of Venus square Pluto. It awakens you to what has overstayed its growth in your life. Not out of bitterness. Not out of anger. But out of a deep knowing that real harmony can only exist when your inner world is not in conflict with your outer attachments. The tarot cards reflect this truth with unshakable clarity. The Tower appears first not to bring fear, but to bring freedom. Its lightning strike collapses false structures, outdated dreams, relationships that once gave life but now quietly drain it. And following the Tower comes the Star. Gentle. Healing. Restorative. The Star doesn't scream. It glows. It whispers peace into your nervous system. It invites you to rest. To breathe. To recover hope. You may ask, but why now? Because your soul is ready. Because your intuition has already known this maybe for weeks or months. And now, the stars are giving you permission to do what your heart was too tender to initiate. Think for a moment, Libra. Have you ever held on to someone, even though the energy had long since shifted? Have you ever felt the silence growing louder, but you stayed anyway, hoping it would fade back into connection? There's no judgment here. This is human. And your desire to nurture is not a flaw. But now, you're being asked to shift from nurturing others into nurturing your own alignment. There is a certain kind of grace that comes when you accept that something has reached its sacred expiration. And while the ego might grieve what is leaving, the soul rejoices at what is being made possible. This is not about a person simply walking away. It is about space being created. About your spirit no longer dimming itself to keep something that no longer matches your vibration. Sometimes, the kindest thing the universe can do is remove what you no longer have the strength to release. And if you're wondering what comes after, look to the Star. It holds the promise of a quiet joy returning. It says, after the collapse, you will rebuild not the same, but stronger, softer, truer. Your capacity to love does not end here. It only deepens. Libra, let this be a moment of gentle surrender. You don't need to resist the change. You don't even need to understand it all right now. Just trust that you are not losing something essential. You are being returned to yourself. And if you've felt this energy building, if you've sensed that a relationship or situation has been unraveling in silence, write in the comments, "I trust what leaves, make space for what is meant." This is how we affirm the sacred timing at work. This is how we meet change, not with fear, but with faith. Even if you are not someone of religious practice, there is a kind of quiet divinity in letting go. As those who walk in faith often say, God doesn't take anything away without preparing something greater in its place. And perhaps this is that kind of miracle, not loud, not visible yet, but unmistakably real. So today, Libra, hold your heart with both hands. Thank it for how much it's carried. And gently remind it, you are safe to let go. You are safe to breathe again. Because this is not just the end of something, it is the beginning of something far more aligned with who you truly are. There are moments in life when we sense that someone close to us is gently pulling away, not with anger, not with conflict, but with a quiet fading that's difficult to name. Libra, if you felt that in your heart lately, this part of your story may offer clarity. The person who is preparing to leave your energy field around December 4th is not necessarily an enemy. In fact, they may be someone you once deeply cherished, a past lover, a friend who once felt like family, a coworker who walked beside you through challenges, or even a relative whose presence has quietly grown heavier over time. The truth is, their exit is not a punishment. It's a recalibration. Energetically speaking, you've grown. You've been raising your vibration, whether you realize it or not. Through the emotional lessons of this year, through silent nights of self-reflection, through the decisions you've made, even the small ones, you have begun aligning more closely with your inner truth. And when you elevate your frequency, Libra, not everyone around you will be able to meet you at that new level. This is not a sign of failure, it's a sign of movement. The people who must leave often don't do so because they are unworthy, but because they are still resonating at a previous version of your frequency, a version that you've already outgrown. As Uranus continues its retrograde motion during this time, its cosmic influence stirs hidden truths and exposes what is no longer authentic. Relationships, roles, conversations that once felt normal now begin to feel like they're held together by habit, not heart. What used to bring comfort now triggers discomfort. And what used to feel aligned now feels slightly off, like a beautiful song that's just slightly out of key. These signs are gentle, but persistent. The universe does not force separation in cruelty, it allows it in compassion. Libra, your nature is to keep the balance. You are the peacemaker, the harmonizer, the soul who often sacrifices their own discomfort for the sake of unity. But harmony at the expense of your truth is not harmony at all. It is self-abandonment in disguise. And that's the old pattern being broken right now. That is why the person you're thinking of, perhaps someone who once brought light into your leaf, is now stepping out of it. Their presence is no longer sustainable for the version of you that's being born. Imagine for a moment a golden leaf drifting from a high branch in early winter. The leaf is not falling because it's flawed. It's falling because its season is over. Because the tree is preparing for a new cycle of growth, one that cannot bloom fully until the old has been released. That person in your life? They're the golden leaf. Beautiful in their purpose. Meaningful in your past. But no longer meant to be part of what you're building next. Ask yourself with gentle honesty, is there someone in your life who feels like they're slowly stepping back, not because of something you did, but because the connection no longer breathes like it once did? Do you find yourself trying to hold on out of loyalty, or out of fear of the unknown? These are not easy questions, but they are sacred ones. And they deserve your full attention. Let me share something that I've come to understand through years of self-help therapy, energy healing, and studying the soul paths of thousands. Not everyone who starts the journey with you is meant to finish it with you. Some people are bridges. Some are mirrors. Some are teachers. And some are the fire that helps burn away the illusions of who you thought you had to be. When their role is complete, their departure, no matter how subtle, becomes part of your liberation. If you're resonating with this right now, if someone's name or face keeps appearing in your mind as you listen, take a breath and honor what's coming up. And if you feel called to, share it in the comments below with this affirmation: I lovingly release those who no longer walk my path. I honor their place in my journey, and now, I honor mine. There is something quietly powerful about speaking that into the world. It confirms to yourself and to the universe that you are no longer afraid of change. You're no longer holding on to the past simply because it's familiar. You're making room. You're choosing clarity over comfort. You're choosing truth over tension. And just like the stories passed down from wise elders, or the gentle promises found in sacred texts, there is a divine rhythm behind every departure. What may feel like loss at first is often the beginning of restoration. Not in loud, dramatic ways, but in the subtle rearranging of your peace. In the stillness that finally returns. In the breath you can finally take without resistance. You're not being punished, Libra. You're being prepared. Not everyone can go where you are going, and that's okay. Because what's coming next is not just a new chapter. It's a new vibration. And those who remain, those who arrive later, will meet you there not out of obligation, but out of pure alignment. And so, Libra, once the energy begins to shift and that person finally exits your space, there is a stillness that follows. It may feel like a vacuum at first, a hollow room where their presence used to echo. There might be a deep breath you don't even realize you've been holding, now slowly released into the silence. That silence, as uncomfortable as it may be in the beginning, is not emptiness. It is sacred space. A sacred pause. A womb for something new. The divine architecture of your soul is rearranging itself, not to reflect what you've lost, but to prepare for what you're about to become. In the quiet after a storm, the star card appears. It arrives not with fanfare, but with gentle light. A soft shimmer of hope that touches the spirit when it feels most fragile. The star reminds you that healing doesn't always come through answers, it often comes through rest. Through trust. Through small acts of choosing yourself again and again, even when your heart feels unsteady. This is your reset, Libra. The reset of your soul. You may ask, how do I begin again? And I will tell you, not with force, not with pressure, but with breath. The 4-7-8 method is a gentle yet powerful tool. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 7, and exhale for 8. Try it now. As you exhale, feel your nervous system begin to soften, your mind begin to slow. This is where healing begins, not in dramatic declarations, but in presence. Start small. Clean your room, not for productivity, but to mirror the internal decluttering that is happening within. Journaling your thoughts at night, even if it's just one line, helps move stuck energy through the body. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for expression. Your soul doesn't want you to perform healing. It wants you to feel safe enough to allow it. Financially and physically, this is also a reset point. Not in a new year, new me sense, but in a rooted, realistic way. Ask yourself, what's one financial goal that feels light and attainable? Maybe it's saving a small amount each week, or cooking at home more often. What's one health decision that doesn't overwhelm but uplifts? A short morning walk, a 5-minute stretch, even just drinking more water. These little acts are spiritual too. They say to the universe, I am here. I am present. I am worthy of stability. Energetically, this is where the law of attraction begins to activate with new power. When you release emotional entanglements, especially those wrapped in guilt, obligation, or lingering hope, you free up psychic space. And nature, as we know, abhors a vacuum. That space will soon be filled. Not with noise. Not with repetition. But with invitations that resonate. With people who meet you where you are, not where you used to be. And let me say this gently, but clearly, don't try to convince someone to stay when their soul has already left the room. It is not your job to fix, to chase, or to prove your worth to someone who no longer hears your spirit. Closure is not always a conversation. Sometimes, closure is the peace that arrives when you stop reaching for someone who has already let go. You are not losing anything, you are being unburdened. If your heart believes, even just a little, that endings can be sacred beginnings, I invite you to anchor that belief in the comments. Type, I am ready to be reborn. Say it not as a wish, but as a truth. Because you are not broken. You are blooming. There is something very holy about starting again. It's not flashy. It's not loud. It's a quiet courage. And Libra, I see that courage in you. It has always been there underneath the compromises, beneath the pleasing, behind the polite smile. It's time to reclaim it. One breath, one step, one choice at a time. You are not starting over. You are starting deeper. What begins to shift after the morning of December 4th isn't just your emotional state, liberates the entire vibration of your life. Once a certain connection detaches, the mental fog begins to clear. The confusion quiets. The noise lessens. And suddenly, your natural creativity, the kind that Venus, your ruling planet, has always held in abundance, begins to return. With your mind no longer weighed down by the emotional labor of maintaining something that was already dissolving, you become open. Open to ideas, to possibility, to direction. It's like discovering you have more hours in the day, more room to breathe, and more of yourself available to pour into what truly matters. Financially, you may notice this openness showing up in ways that feel like divine timing. A conversation leads to a new job lead. A delayed payment finally clears. A collaboration you once gave up on circles back at the right time. None of this is random. When you realign with your true energy and stop leaking life force into spaces that don't give back, the universe responds with clarity. And in that clarity, Libra, comes flow. Don't be surprised if new contracts, offers, or even surprise cash opportunities begin to emerge. You didn't manifest them by force, you magnetized them by becoming available again. The same truth applies to love. But let's be honest, letting go is not just about walking away, it's about fully releasing the hope of change. And once you do that, your frequency rises. That's when something extraordinary happens, the kind of love that doesn't demand performance, explanation, or compromise begins to draw near. This person doesn't come in chaos. They arrive in calm. Not as a test but as a reward for finally choosing peace over patterns. Real love doesn't make you guess. It doesn't come to fix you or be fixed. It comes to witness you, and to walk beside you, not above or below you. You'll know this shift is happening when your body starts responding before your mind does. Your sleep deepens. You wake with less dread. The heaviness in your chest lightens. Your skin may start to glow. Your digestion improves. Why? Because your nervous system is no longer constantly bracing for impact. You're not walking on emotional eggshells anymore. Your body, Libra, is finally entering a state of healing because your energy field is no longer under silent attack. These changes aren't just energetic, they're biochemical. If you've been feeling depleted, I gently suggest nourishing your body with magnesium or B-complex vitamins. These support your nervous system, especially during periods of emotional release. A light stretch in the morning, especially near a window where natural light hits your face, can reset your internal clock. And interestingly, green fruits, kiwi, green apple, avocado carry the vibration of heart chakra energy, which is exactly what's being rebalanced for you this week. And there's something else I want to tell you, Libra, something that may seem subtle but is absolutely intentional. Have you noticed how the number 4 and 12 keep appearing around you lately? The date, the hours, the receipts, the timestamps. In numerology, 4 represents foundation, stability, earth. And 12 signals the end of a cycle, preparation for a new one. These are not coincidences. These are quiet confirmations that your soul is already syncing with the next chapter. So let me ask you now, sincerely, what is it that you're hoping to open up after December 4th? What space are you ready to walk into now that someone has walked out? Let me know in the comments. This isn't just interaction, it's anchoring. Declare your desire. Write it like a prayer to yourself. The future hears you when you speak from the heart. Sometimes what looks like a painful ending is actually the beginning of a deeper alignment. You may feel, Libra, that someone walking away is a rejection, an abandonment, or a personal failure, but if you look closely, what's really happening is redirection. Often, the universe removes what we're too afraid to let go of. It does so gently, through timing, through disconnection, through a silence that becomes more revealing than any conversation could ever be. And though the process may feel hollow, there's something sacred taking shape underneath it all, space. And that space is not empty. It's holy ground for your next blessing to land. When someone steps out of your life, especially without closure or clarity, it can trigger self-doubt. But what if that absence is actually the answer to a prayer you whispered months ago? What if peace didn't arrive in the form you expected, but it arrived nonetheless? Sometimes the answer to, God, please help me let go of what's not good for me, comes in the form of someone leaving. It's not punishment, it's permission. It's the closing of a chapter you were never meant to rewrite. I've walked with many souls on their journey, and I've seen this pattern over and over again. The very moment they release what they thought they couldn't live without is the moment they start to breathe deeper. The moment they stop begging for answers and start embracing surrender is the moment clarity rushes in. And with that clarity comes a new pace of life, gentler, quieter, and more honest. There was a woman I once met in a healing circle. She had clung tightly to a relationship that had long turned cold. She prayed for change, for understanding, for restoration. But none came. Until one day, he simply stopped calling. No reason. No conflict. Just absence. For weeks she spiraled, convinced she had done something wrong. But slowly, in the stillness, something within her began to return. She started writing again, dreaming again. She changed cities, changed jobs, and changed the story she told about herself. It wasn't fast. It wasn't clean. But one morning, years later, she said, "That man leaving was the moment I got my life back." It was a disguised blessing, a quiet miracle. So when we say this is a gift in disguise, we're not sugarcoating pain. We're revealing the truth behind it. Growth rarely arrives dressed in comfort. It comes in the form of shedding layers, people, attachments, illusions. And each layer removed brings you closer to the truth of who you are. You may never receive a perfect explanation for why someone exited your life. And that's okay. What matters more is what enters afterward: peace, freedom, room to build something that actually fits who you've become. The greatest blessings don't always come wrapped in what you hoped for. Sometimes they come disguised as silence, as loss, or as detours that take you the long way home. If you're still with me here, I want you to remember this: you haven't been forgotten. Not by God. Not by the universe. Not by life. You are not being tested. You are being protected. When someone leaves and it feels like devastation, you are allowed to cry, to grieve, but also to trust. Trust that this isn't the end. It's an unraveling designed to set you free. I invite you now to reflect and ground this knowing in your heart. If something about today's message speaks to the deepest part of you, write this affirmation in the comments: I trust the path, even when I don't see the way. Because sometimes that is the greatest act of faith, to keep walking, even when you don't have all the answers, believing that the plan for your life is still unfolding, even in the silence. You're not being left behind, Libra. You're being guided forward towards something far more whole, far more sacred, far more you. And now, beloved Libra, as we reach the final breath of today's journey together, I want to remind you of something profoundly simple, yet often forgotten in times of emotional unraveling. You are not a victim of this departure. You are the sovereign of your own return. You are the one who gets to decide who is allowed to stay close to your heart. You are the one who chooses what stories get rewritten, and which ones must now be closed with grace. This is your soul's space. Your sacred garden. And only those who honor your light should ever be given permission to walk through its gates again. Let us not confuse absence with abandonment. The truth is, you have not been left behind, you have been returned to yourself. You have not lost a person, you have gained a chance to breathe without waiting to be seen. You are not incomplete, you are simply becoming whole in ways you never imagined. So when December 4th arrives and something shifts, when a silence settles, when a goodbye finally echoes through your energy field, remember this: it is not the end. It is the rearranging of stars above your life. It is the unlocking of chains you didn't even realize were there. It is a quiet act of cosmic mercy, gently guiding you back to the path you were always meant to walk. Ask yourself now, what would it feel like to be free? To not carry the weight of what no longer loves you in return. To wake up each morning knowing your peace is no longer dependent on someone else's presence. What doors could open if you no longer stood at one that refused to move? This is where your healing begins, not by fixing what's broken, but by choosing what is whole. By remembering that you are allowed to start again. That you are allowed to prioritize your joy. That you are allowed to bloom in the absence of what once overshadowed you. If today's message touched something tender in you, I want to invite you into a sacred action. Not just for this channel, but for yourself. Please take a moment to comment below and declare it. What are you ready to release? And what are you finally ready to receive? Let your words be your liberation. Your affirmation. Your new beginning. And if this reading met you exactly where you needed it most, I gently ask you to support this energy so it may continue flowing to others who are silently seeking the same light. Tap the like button as a signal to the universe that you are ready for your breakthrough. Subscribe to Zodiac Whisper Tarot so we can continue walking beside one another through every season, every transit, and every sacred turning point of your soul. I want you to know how deeply grateful I am for your presence. Every view, every share, every heartfelt comment weaves another thread into the soul family we're building here. And your energy, yes, your unique presence is a gift to this collective. Thank you for choosing to be here. For choosing your growth. For choosing your truth. So when that door closes on December 4th, don't rush to reopen it. Don't panic at the stillness. Instead, listen. There will be a softness in the silence. A promise that wasn't possible before. There will be a Brea, the real one, and you'll know. You'll know that what left didn't abandon you. It made space for what's always been waiting to arrive. Because some endings, dear Libra, are not losses. They are openings. And this sacred shifty is one of them. You are not who you were. You are who you're becoming. And that is worth celebrating. So tell me now in the comments, what truth has awakened inside you today? I'll be right there with you, reading, listening, holding space, because this is more than a reading. It's a reunion with your higher self. Let this be the day you choose freedom. Let this be the day you finally choose you.